The vision for the St.Kitts and Nevis Marine Management Area, or the SKN MMA, was envisioned since the early 1980s. There were multiple attempts to create an area within the marine environment that would be properly managed. However, through using marine spatial planning in 2010, the Nature Conservancy, along with the Department of Marine Resources and a number of other stakeholders, they came together and made a plan. Through the use of multiple consultations and also research, including benthic habitat mapping, that's mapping the bottom of the ocean, essentially, for the different types of habitats, looking at the key areas, for example, in the Narrows, where we have the largest seagrass bed in St. Kitts and Nevis, we came to the conclusion that we really needed to have a proper plan in place. There are 5 different types of zones within the SKN MMA. The first, conservation zone. This is primarily used to protect the biodiversity within that area. There's a fishing priority zone, which, as the name suggests, is mainly for the fishers to have primary use of that area. There's a transport zone, which is located between Bastia and Charlestown, where you have the main ferries transporting between both ports. There is the multiple use zone, where you have a conservation and fishing priorities being mixed. And then we have the recreation zone, which captures tourism interests.
I would want to think as a policymaker and a minister of government, and one whom the general public at large look towards for solutions to the difficulties we'll have. I would want to think that all of the areas are of interest to myself and this administration. In terms of those zones, I'd say we are willing to adapt all so as to ensure that we have consistency throughout in marine management areas.
For us at the Ministry of Tourism, all the zones that have been identified in the marine managed area are important for us. For example, we have recreation. As most persons would know, the majority of visitors who come to St. Kitts and Nevis are here for leisure, and therefore recreation areas for recreation will be important to us. In addition to the fact that we do not have many beach areas for persons to go to, and so where we have the marine managed area is one of our more popular beaches and where most of our visitors would patronize. Additionally, the fishing priority areas would be important to us because we need food, and many of the visitors who travel to the Caribbean come to get our fresh fish and lobsters, so that is also important to us. We also see the marine managed area as an important avenue for transportation between the 2 islands, St. Kitts and Nevis. So that also is important to us. Conservation is also important to us at the Ministry of Tourism, because that way we can take care of the fish life in the destination. Many persons who travel to St. Kitts and Nevis, they come here to dive, and so we have to ensure the health of the fish life and the other organisms in the marine managed area, and therefore conservation is important to us.
I'm happy for all of the zones to exist, because I think the more that people gain an understanding of the different uses that we have for the oceans surrounding the Federation and the different benefits that we get from it will help everybody in general.
The green zone is specifically important to me because from a conservation point of view, I want to see more fishes.
What it needs is collaboration. The Department of Marine Resources is responsible for taking care of the marine managed area. What we need to do is collaborate and create that awareness about the marine managed area. This is something that's new, and there's always resistance to things that are new. And so we have to educate our people about what has been introduced. It also gives us a great opportunity to encourage more collaboration, not only with Department of Marine Resources, but our other stakeholders in the tourism sector itself.
If you're talking education and awareness, we have to spend a lot of money to ensure that, first of all, the fishermen buy into it. Secondly, other persons, maybe non-nationals, understand what it's all about And I think it's our responsibility to spend the money up front to make sure that everybody understands what's going on.
A lot of the work that we do on the island that's really important is educational awareness. And I think that the creation of the Marine Managed Area and further education on the way that it's used in the different zones will help us to further our mission of helping people understand the importance of natural resources, specifically marine resources, and the benefit that the ocean gives to the citizenry of St. Kitts and Nevis.
That would be the first and foremost challenge of getting persons on board, or getting all of our stakeholders, meaning fishermen and the general public on a whole, on board and understanding what the ultimate objectives are. But once the education is done, I believe we should be on our way in terms of ensuring that all of the necessary rules, regulations, and the do's and the don'ts are known, then persons would understand why these are being done.
We are more concerned with the species being able to feed not just us, but generations to come after us. And so capturing and taking species from the ocean has to be in a sustainable way, it has to be in a managed way. We just can't indiscriminately go and take fish or other species from the sea, crustaceans, without a care for what happens after. We have to give them time to develop, reproduce, and so be able to feed not just us, people after us.
We want fishers to have a healthy fish stock. We want people's livelihoods to remain and for them to be able to support their family. We want the tourism industry to be able to have healthy reef for people to scuba dive and snorkel and benefit the economy of the Federation. And we want our natural resources that occur in the ocean to stay healthy and intact, including our sea turtle population. Ultimately, what may be a challenge in the beginning is just going to take some getting used to and some increased educational awareness.
Fishermen here and throughout the Caribbean, including Belize, we have all the same concerns. Every fisherman wants to fish where he can catch the most fish, and he wants to be able to feed his family and support his family, pay his bills, stuff like that. If we allow the fishermen to fish continuously in every area, they will deplete the fishes. So we must strike a balance.
The type of fishing that we are involved in, things like fad fishing, our efforts in aquaculture.
The ultimate beneficiaries of this particular policy would be the fishermen, the tourism industry, and those who are just in some form of recreation, I would think, because these areas will be utilized by a number of persons in years to come after we would have taken the bold step of ensuring that we are protecting our marine life.
At the Ministry of Tourism, we promote a pro-people, pro-planet strategy. And if we are speaking about pro-people and pro-planet, and we talk about sustainable tourism, it gives us the opportunity to ensure that we have true sustainable tourism, where the economic issues, the social issues, and the environmental issues come together for the benefit of the people. We say in the Sustainable Destination Council, which is the advisory council to the Ministry of Tourism, if it's good for us, then it is better for all.
Having a marine managed area states we understand the importance of the ocean surrounding our federation, and we are taking steps to actively protect it, to ensure that all of the different users can benefit from it, that we have a balanced system where everybody benefits, and showing the rest of the region this is important to us, and we hope that you join us in doing it and you follow suit. Something like sea turtles, which is an animal that I work with here in St. Kitts, they're a migratory species. And so what we may think of as our turtles here in either St. Kitts or Nevis are really being shared by everyone throughout the region. So turtles that are born from, or actually hatch from our beaches and make their way into the ocean, will go somewhere else and spend the rest of their life feeding and growing until they reach maturity. And when it's time to nest again, they'll return to our shores. Things like marine managed areas in all of these different countries are important to ensure that they are protected and have the benefits and support that they need in each of the countries throughout the region.
It will lead to a lot more job opportunities, for creative job opportunities. People may want to do tours, sport fishing, and of course the fishermen, if they concentrate on even new areas that we're encouraging.
Looking towards sustainable development and sustainable protection over the next 20, 30, 40 or 50, 60 years to come, or hundreds of years to come, because our legacy as policymakers and our legacy while we're here in the position to make a difference has to be felt for years to come. So I believe the impact should be positive going forward, and I fully endorse the marine management areas that are clearly defined throughout the waters of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I want to think that if I'm a policymaker and I see what the overall positive impacts can be, then I want our fishermen, our fisher folks, and the general public at large to understand that this is a good thing for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. It can only be done to the benefit of all of us as we spend our time here on Earth and for future generations to come. So I believe the impact would be a positive one.